our last lesson, we focused on identifying and eliminating irrelevant details in our writing. But why do we put those details in there in the first place? One reason might be that you're not sure what the focus of your paragraph is. That's why it's so important to have a clear topic sentence at the beginning of every paragraph. It helps keep you as the writer focused. But there's another reason. Sometimes we add those irrelevant details because we think we need some word count fluff. In other words, we look at a draft of our paragraph and we say, it's kind of short. Let's add some stuff. And then in our haste to add some stuff, we end up adding details that really don't fit. Now, we're almost ready to bake our cookies, but looking at the cookie dough, the bowl doesn't seem quite as full as I would like it to be. So, let's add maybe a banana and some steak seasoning, a plastic spoon, and a cheese stick. And when we try to add some stuff to make our paragraph longer, it often leads to another common problem in writing. And I know I already added flour and eggs, but let's add a little more just to be safe. Yes, that's better. The word redundant refers to unnecessary repetition in expressing ideas. So when you're writing a paragraph and you unnecessarily restate an idea that you've already clearly expressed, you are being redundant. Let's look at an example. Let's say you're writing an essay, and in this essay you're supposed to give someone else advice about how to write a great resume. Here's an example body paragraph from that essay. Because your resume is your first chance to make a good impression on a possible future employer, your resume's visual format might matter almost as much as its content. Choosing the best font might seem like an insignificant detail, but a font that comes across as too out there or that simply isn't readable might get your resume tossed before it even gets a good look. A basic font like Verdana, Calibri, or Times New Roman always works well. And a font size between 10 and 12 point is ideal. Smaller fonts are tougher to read, while larger fonts come across as less professional. So keep the size between 10 and 12. Clear headings and bullet-pointed details are standard in most resume formats. Slightly increasing the size of headings can make them pop, but don't let them get too large. The most important rule is to make sure your font is simple, readable, and neither too large nor too small. 10 to 12 point font would be perfect. The first thing that jumps out to me about this paragraph is that while it's supposed to be about visual formatting of a resume, which includes a lot of different factors, the majority of the supporting details are about choosing a font. These lines unnecessarily repeat something we just saw. It's important to emphasize your points, but there are better ways to do that than just restating them in slightly different words. The last line of the paragraph is also redundant. Earlier in the paragraph, we already talked about keeping the font simple and readable and keeping the font size where it should be. So we can cut that sentence. Prepare yourself, because when you make this kind of revision, there's going to be a part of your brain that says, but now my paragraph's shorter. Yep, it is. Don't let yourself take false comfort in a paragraph that looks long but is filled with redundant fluff. Longer isn't necessarily better. And the reality is this paragraph could actually be longer. We're supposed to be talking about visual formatting, but we only touch on 2 factors of that. Another important part of formatting might be color. So why not add some details about that? You should also be cautious when using color in a resume. A single dark emphasis color for headings can be very effective, but using several colors, especially bright colors, makes a resume look childish and less serious. And just to wrap the paragraph up a little more effectively, we could add a concluding sentence at the end. While you want to spend a lot of time fine-tuning the information you'll put in your resume, don't overlook the importance of visual formatting. To review, being redundant is not an effective way to pump up the size of your paragraph. Explain yourself well, but don't repeat yourself. Now it's your turn. Let's go to work. It's gross.